welcome back. This is the JR Wisdom channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, make sure you gently press that subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all my future videos. And feel free to check out some of my old ones as well. You might find something you like. So this evening I'm going to be discussing a topic I've done previously. I've done like a series on this in the past, if you want to call it that, or just a bunch of repeats kind of on it, touching on the topic. And that topic is the no contact rule and ghosting as well. This goes hand in hand. So I'll try to link those. Just stick around to the end of the video, or you can just fast forward right now to see those videos if you want to check those out as well. But this video is in reference to a email that I received from one of my subscribers asking for advice in reference to no contact. And you'll see as I read the email, you know, what actually happened here and what my advice is on this. And many of you may have encountered it as well. So for those of you who don't know what no contact is basically when you and a person, could be a friend, could be a significant other, could be anyone that you have a relationship with, intimate relationship, and all of a sudden they, or maybe you, may stop talking to each other, may stop talking to the other person for whatever reason. This person may just stop talking to you, i.e. could be called ghosting, which is also could be no contact on their end. Or if in that case, when they do this to you, you actually, instead of chasing after them, repeatedly reaching out to them, trying to get them to talk to you or trying to engage them over and over, you do what's called no contact, which is basically cease all contact, every form, including email, and you just walk away at that point. Never look back. So as you can see, I'm gonna read this gentleman's. He's a subscriber of mine. I appreciate this, and hopefully by me reading this, it'll help out some of you guys who may be going through something similar, or could potentially look for or know the signs when it does happen as well. So let's get right into the email. Me and my girl broke up July 27th. We're together for about 6 months. I'm 35, she was 25, with a 3-year-old son. We got into a heated argument after a party the week before, but up until then, we never really fought. After the fight, I kept my distance. She texted, and we both apologized, and we agreed to meet that weekend. We met up and talked it out, but she became emotional and started making excuses like she needed space and had a lot on her plate, and there was no more spark between us. I wasn't born yesterday, and know when a woman says that stuff, it's signaling she wants to break up. I was shocked. It seemed sketchy because she just wanted to end it and not even try to fix it. I held my frame, did not beg, plead, or try and change her mind. I simply got up, told her if anything changes to contact me. We exchanged hugs, and I simply left. I deleted her number and went straight into no contact. Over the next 5 days, she continued to contact me via text with pictures of us or little silly miss you texts. I simply kept my responses short and stoic. I think she was shocked because I wasn't giving her a weak, needy reaction after the breakup. I showed indifference. On August 4th, she called my phone at 8:30 a.m. while I was at work. She admitted she missed me already and having me around, and how I always set her straight. She invited me over that night, which I agreed, spent the night, and left the following morning. She followed up later that evening with a text saying she enjoyed having me back over. After that day, I had not heard from her, so I figured I would reach out with a simple text. I sent her a text on August 11th. She responded to my initial text, but then waited 8 hours to reply back to my second text. We exchanged a few more texts, but with her ultimately leaving my last text on read, I feel I took a step back by reaching out to her after she did most of the initiating after the breakup. Today will be exactly 30 days since we last spoke, and I'm not reaching out at all since the last time we spoke. She seemed a little distant. My question to you is, does it sound like she was breadcrumbing me or trying to get me to chase her? I have no hard evidence, but I have a feeling she may have linked back up with someone from her past or possibly someone new. I'm not waiting around for her to ever contact me again, but I am a little confused. We follow each other on Facebook and Instagram, but I don't like or watch any of her stories. Lately, she's been posting a lot of silly relationship quotes of how they should be. I recently deactivated both with the thought, out of mind, out of sight, out of sight, out of mind. I would like your opinion on the matter and how I should move forward, whether she ever reaches back out or not. Thanks. So, for those of you that got that, and you saw, for those of you who this may seem familiar, and you may have been down this road yourself, you see a few things, which I'm going to address that in the same advice that I gave him. So, what's going on here isn't uncommon, as I said, but one of the things that is kind of important is the reason why the argument happened initially, the reason why they got into an argument. A lot of times, like, they were together 6 months. A lot of times there are signs that lead up to this actual argument, and there are signs that you're turning her off, and you may not notice it till it's too late. During this time, some women, and I don't want to make this completely about women, but this is the case. This is a guy contacting me about a woman. So in the case, as things are starting to slowly, she's starting to lose attraction for you, and she's starting to quote unquote fall out of love, if she was ever in love. She'll maybe start to entertain some of the orbiters that may be in her inbox, maybe messaging her old friends, so on and so forth. Because that's something that typically happens a lot of times. But instead of her completely cutting it off at the first thing, it's just dragging on, and she slowly distances herself. Either way, what he did initially, he conducted himself appropriately. He didn't come off too needy. Another thing, obviously, you see that he's 35, she's 25. There's a 10-year difference. He's a lot much older, and is said to could be mature at this point in terms of this. So this is a 25-year-old woman with a child. She may not even know what she wants at the end of the day. She may not know what she wants out of life, and she could feel that she has other options that she can entertain because of that. So she didn't value the relationship enough, and she was turned off to the point where basically it was just like, she's just here. So women tend, for you guys who know, women don't want to hurt your feelings. Women try to let you down easy a lot of times, instead of just coming out saying, don't want you, don't want to be with you, so on and so forth. This is where the no contact on their end, or ghosting, comes in. And so the ghosting is what happened at that point, where she basically just stopped talking to him. And it could have been a test at that point. And a lot of guys, like I said, are just like, we're more straightforward. We would like to know, tell us what's going on. Tell us what the problem is, quote unquote. Tell us that you're dropping us, you're getting rid of us, instead of what women typically do. As I said, they don't want to hurt your feelings, and they don't want to be confrontational, so they'll just stop talking to you altogether, and in efforts to not be confrontational and not hurt your feelings. And we look at that as being passive aggressive, but that's just the way it is. So if it hasn't happened to you, you need to get, be prepared for it, or get used to it. This is where communication comes in a lot of times. And when it comes to ghosting and things like that, you can throw all that out the window. So with that being said, what I said before, whatever led up to this argument, turned her off to that point where she ends up ghosting him on this tip. But, he held his ground. He wasn't thirsty. He wasn't needy. He showed his strength, and basically she just started texting him again, basically trying to, just make sure everything was still cool and whatnot. And he was doing everything correctly, messaging her back, back and forth, so on and so forth. Her doing I miss you text, sending pictures and stuff like that, trying to be funny, until it eventually leads to a sexual encounter where she invites him over to the house. He spends the night, and the next day she basically says she enjoyed herself. So the reason for her inviting him over there was basically, it was just to see if there was anything there. after all this time, all these things going on, basically to see, is there really anything there at this point? Or is this just something that I'm feeling inside that, I just have to find out what's going on at this point. So the next day, basically, when she says she enjoyed herself, who knows what pillow talk he was using that night, and who knows what went on. Who knows if he was thirsty that night or he was acting too needy when they got back together. I'm not saying that's what happened. And the next day, when she said she enjoyed herself and everything was cool, she went ghost immediately after that. And that could have been where basically things might have solidified with this other orbiter, or she knew for sure she wasn't going to go back to him and was going to deal with this other guy or other guys. And that, in my estimation, based off of what was going on here, there had to be a potential orbiter in the midst. So basically, it's she was just living in the moment that night, living in the moment to see if there was anything there. So when she does end up disappearing, she can just look back with no regrets. So as you can see, with her saying all this, she enjoyed herself, her actions weren't matching up with her words. She wasn't being congruent with what she was saying in terms of basically trying to text you back and everything else. So never trust, I'm not gonna say never trust a woman's words, but never trust anyone's words who aren't congruent with their actions. So what he did here is he waited a week, typically, and that's kind of like the rule of thumb, wait a week. But instead of, because she kind of broke it off with you, so you don't want to reach back out, but you did reach out to her instead of just waiting for her to reach out to you, which you would think a week would be enough time. But obviously, she kind of ghosted you. So in the case of somebody ghosting you, you don't ever want to reach out to them. It's upon them to get back in your good graces, quote unquote. So it was the way you felt, and obviously she was playing this game, and you felt like you needed to reach out and see if anything was there, because obviously you still have feelings for this woman. So her lack of enthusiasm by not reaching out to you within this week means that she was completely turned off at this point, and she's definitely entertaining someone else. So for you to think, and women will say, oh, it's this, and this. No, if she just goes from being talkative to completely just not talking to you at all, and she's a young 25-year-old woman, chances are there's somebody in the picture. So, he decided to go no contact at that point after breaking the no contact with that week. Both of you apologize. You apologize. She apologized. You put the ball in her court by reaching out. You can't play tennis by yourself. You serve the ball over, she has to serve it back. That's how it goes. But in this case, she didn't serve it back. You did all you could. You know what I mean? Don't chase her. Now it's a good thing you didn't chase her after that. So I guarantee chances are he'll hear from her again somewhere down the road in terms of this. If you do hear back from her, and that's for any of you guys going through something similar, just be cool, just be cordial if you hear from that person. Same thing with him. Don't take anything personal, even though you might have been in this long relationship, 6 months, a year, 2 years, however many years. It's hard not to take things personal, but you have to understand whatever feelings you feel, you need to take care of it on your own time in private. Don't throw it back on this person and basically try to make that person feel bad, because you can't get somebody back by hurting them at the same time. You know what I'm saying? By basically they come back into your life and you want to be with them, and you throw everything back up in their face like, you did this, you did this, you did this. How dare you stop talking to me? Can we go out? Are you gonna come to the house tonight? Can we hang out? Doesn't work like that. And a lot of us tend to do that, right? We tend to throw everything back in that person's face, even though we want to be with them. You know what I mean? In the case of a person reaching out, get right down to business, whatever it is. All the chit chat, avoid any of the chit chat if they reach out. If they don't reach out, it's their loss. You always find someone better. It's a time to improve yourself and to find out what it is that you want as well. If you get the person back, cool. If you don't, find somebody better. That's how you have to look at life. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? So in terms of what he was saying about social media, me personally, and this is from experience, he said that he deactivated his account. I wouldn't have deactivated my account. I might have unfollowed her. I agree with him on that, you know, as far as all of that. I would have just unfollowed her on Facebook and Instagram. Even though you can still be friends with someone on Facebook, but I would have unfollowed them for sure on IG and Facebook, because when you see that it brings, especially if you have feelings for a person, out of sight, out of mind, it's easier to do no contact when you don't have to see that person. You know what I mean? So do that if any of you guys are going through something like that. And because seeing that person every day is just triggering memories over and over, and you're just punishing yourself. You know what I'm saying? People will check text messages over and over, reading them. If you just need to get it out of your mind, move on, you're punishing yourself. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, for all you guys, just stay strong. If you're doing no contact, you're doing the right thing. You know, you don't ever let someone demean you. You don't have to chase people. You don't have to beg people for their love. I mean, you're a human being. You're valuable. Don't let somebody, if you're with them, devalue you by feeling like they're the king or the queen and you're like some subject. I did a video in the past about idols. When you call upon idols, when I say idols, I'm talking about like, you know, back in, even now, people that worship idols. And even celebrities, when you call on idols or you worship idols, do they respond? That's why they're idols. They don't respond. They don't talk back. So it's the same thing. Keep that in mind. You're valuable. You don't have to chase people. You don't have to beg them. You don't have to do any of that. Go, no contact, go on about your business. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from this guy's situation. And, you know, feel free to comment if you had a similar situation. If you want some, you know, some guidance, some personal guidance on it, feel free to reach out to me. If you got any topics you'd like me to discuss, you know, same thing, all of that. And check out my videos here that'll pop up here shortly in reference to this topic to learn more about no contact and ghosting, so on and so forth. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. Peace be upon you in the mercy and blessings of the Almighty. I'm out.